Hey y'all, welcome to the Improv and RPG channel. My name is Matt, and I am so pleased that we get to return to this group, return to precious memories, a flabbergasted, mystified little mini series here. Which, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Flabbergasted is a game, a comedic combatless game for the large part, set in the 1920s, and it is quite the wild ride. The mystified expansion, of course, being the mystery focused expansion pack. And oh my gosh, I'm so pumped. I'm just so pumped. So before we get into the game itself, let's introduce our players for y'all. Could I get your name, your pronouns, anything you have to promote, aka where people can find you, and then your character's name, character pronouns, and a little blurb about your characters. We'll start things off with Kayleigh with Henry on deck.
Hi, I'm Kayleigh, she, they, and I am playing Sadie Sedgwick, the sleuth, which is a lot of fun alliteration right there.
Yes.
Um, Her pronouns are she, her. And she's an amateur detective. She's uh, appears as just like sort of a cute, innocent young woman, but she uses that skill to be able to eavesdrop and learn juicy gossip, which is also how she got into amateur detecting. She found out her former boss was embezzling funds, and she, used some lockpicking and other detective skills to bring him down. So yeah, that's
Snap.
that's Sadie.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Let's jump over to Henry with Liam on deck.
Hello, I'm Henry, he, him pronouns, and I'll be playing Stephen Key Yen, also he, him pronouns. Stephen Key Yen is the current curator for the Arms and Armor Department at the Pegadillion Museum of Archaeology. He is very well mannered and cultured, very passionate about weapons and martial arts, and probably will discuss them nonstop unless someone interrupts him, I guess. He's very headstrong in completing a task, and since his occupation is an explorer, if there's an X that marks a spot, he will go out of his way to do what is necessary to find it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Henry. Let's go over to Liam with myself on deck.
Hey all, my name's Liam, he, him pronouns. You probably can't find me anywhere at this stage, but if you'd like me to join your game or whatever shenanigans you're playing, I'm always down for that. Um, Today I am playing Doris or Dodo. And Dodo is a fairly quirky young lady that likes to make and invent new teas and find lost things.
Yes.
Um, she's an occultist with apparently the ability to contact the beyond. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Liam. And I'm Matt, he, him pronouns. And of course, I will be the director, who is, I'll have all manner of pronouns throughout the course of this game. I'm very excited, very pumped. And, well, before we get into the investigation proper, let me paint a little recap picture for y'all. As well, we zoom in on this mansion, the mansion owned by the Adams family. As of course, we have our party, Sadie Sedgwick, our steamy story aficionado and savvy sleuth, Stephen Kiyen, our extreme, though we've seem empathetic as well, explorer and ornate equipment expert, and Doris Dodo Piper, our odd original artist and occasionally omniscient occultist. And last time, after receiving this invitation from young Sammy, um, our party found out. Well, Sadie found out that it seemed like someone had worn too much of the Channel 5 perfume when they went over to the display at which the Ferris wheel, of course, is missing. Now, Stephen ascertained that either someone as physically fit as him could have entered through a window, climbed the curtains, jumped from chandelier to get to the display, or they would have had to have access, perhaps a key, to get into the ballrooms. Now, Dodo interacted with Count Adams, the father, who stated that this was a pock on the Adams family face. Now, Dodo, not caring too much about material things, said that money is just money. And the Count didn't like that. And then Sadie interacted with Ruth Brown, Paul Adams' ex, who seemed worried about Paul, having mentioned old feelings. Now, Ruth did smell of Channel 5 perfume. Sadie was also introduced to, Sadie was also introduced to John Baxter, the appraiser of the collection and new boyfriend of Ruth Brown. Apparently, Mr. Baxter was the appraiser of the entire collection. Now, he also mentioned that Sam always wanted to play with these new collectibles and never got the chance to because these are, of course, quite valuable. The Ferris wheel alone would be worth 30,000 readies on its own outside the collection. But with the completed collection, so much more. Now, the last words from John Baxter as we continue with the investigation was, "It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy." Now, Stephen went to help Paul, assisting the housekeeper, Lois Taylor, in getting Paul over to a couch. The housekeeper seemed quite worried about Paul, but also Paul in general, as far as the collection was concerned. It had become an obsession. And she said, "Who knows what he'll do if this doesn't fill that void." Lois was also the one who revealed that the staff all have keys to the ballroom. Dodo interacted with Sally Struthers, who didn't quite seem to fit in with everybody else. Apparently, Sally was the one who got Paul into collecting. And this was information that Dodo was, of course, able to gather after feeding her a little bit of interesting tea. Now, Dodo did have a little bit of a plan, perhaps. At least, according to her nature, she tends to speak a little loudly, and she blurts out a theory that perhaps the Ferris wheel hadn't been placed there at all. Maybe it wasn't stolen, maybe it was just sitting in wait. And she saw two reactions: a look of worry from Lois Taylor, the housekeeper, and a look of confusion from Peter Tyler, Paul's friend, who lived with them, claiming to be Paul's manager, but seems more like a leech, living the lavish life without doing any work himself. However, because Dodo's attention was split here, we're not sure if her insights on Lois Taylor's look of worry or Peter Tyler's look of confusion, we're not sure which one's true and which one is false. Now, in this moment, everyone is adjourned because, of course, the Count did say that as far as this party is concerned, as far as everyone present is concerned, we need to get to the bottom of this. And if anyone leaves the premises before we do, they will be presumed guilty and hunted down. And so, under that little nudge, everyone is adjourned to rest a little bit before dinner. And here's where we'll pick up again in this session. Sadie, Steven, and Dodo, y'all have collected some information. If you would like to confer, perhaps make a plan, then by all means, as the rest of the guests, perhaps with a little bit of a grumble, some a little bit of a tearful eye, but they're all sort of splitting up before meals will be served later on. So, y'all take it away.
I think Steven, after conferring and helping, who was it to the castle? Paul Adams, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, remind me once again. So the information I got from them is just the fact that, like what was it again? Like it was just mostly about like their relationship in a sense, right? And like about the Ferris wheel and like how, the Count got obsessed with collecting Ferris wheels.
Oh,
right?
so Paul is the one who's
No, Paul is
obsessed
the one.
with collecting the Ferris wheel. The Count is his father.
Oh, right. Yeah. So like I learned exactly like why he was like got so obsessed with it in a sense. Okay. All right. So and then I think Steven, after hearing Dodo's theory, it's like it shakes something in him because like at the time Steven only had like two theories. Like Steven never really thought about if the Ferris wheel was there at all, you know. So I think there's a lot of things still need to be like thought out of. And I think, yeah, like after making sure Paul is okay, yeah, we'll definitely join with the others. So Dodo and Sadie for sure.
Sadie is very quick to tell both Dodo and Steven about Ruth and about the smell of the channel number 5 perfume, but also about this about how Ruth clearly still has feelings for Paul and like what a sad story this is. Just really emphasizes the love story element of it.
Delightful.
Yeah,
And then it's like, oh right, yeah, also the mystery. Yeah, also we're trying
Yeah, Ferris wheel, couldn't care
But
less
also,
about that.
I do think we should try it. But I do think if I can find a way to get them together in a room, I think they might rekindle their romance. That's my plan.
Dodo is very much into that. She's very much
Great.
willing to help and will voice that out. Lost love is just like everything else. It needs to be found again. But Dodo, I think Dodo's interactions were kind of easily overheard by most people present. She's not trying to be overly sneaky about anything she does. That's just not who she is. But she will suggest maybe just simply going and checking where the Ferris wheel was held to begin with, because as per her theory, it might have never even left the place where it was held. And I think the way Dodo expresses it is not like, ooh, let's investigate. It's more I'm pretty sure it's fine. It's probably just there. Like, she does not treat this as an investigation whatsoever. It's just like, let's just go check. It's probably just there, and then we all just get to have dinner and go home, right?
Yeah.
Yes, after we reunite Ruth and Paul.
Yeah. At
Yeah,
whichever
yeah.
point
Yeah,
that happens, that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So great, we got two we got two goals for sure.
Great.
I'm sure the reason
Have
why
dinner.
yeah, have dinner, yeah. I'm sure the reason Paul is this obsessed was because he never found something that he really loved. So
Oh.
maybe. Anyway, but then I think Steven, being the explorer that he is, I think maybe takes like a hold on to like what Dodo has said. The thing about the explorer is that you got to try to find all the clues to figure out where the treasure is, and now currently the treasure is, the Ferris wheel. So as goal oriented Steven is, I think he'll start going in that direction. I think he'll start by finding the Ferris wheel and then try to figure out like who stole it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Where would y'all like to try to start finding the Ferris wheel?
I mean, for me, it's going to be wherever it was held to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a very good place to start. Start with the most obvious sort of, place, the obvious clue, and then work our way upwards from there.
Okay. In this case, could I have the three of you do all together a wooden sharp? And I might be able to paint a little picture for y'all of possible locations.
I only got a 1, so I don't think I'll be contributing much.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 3, so no, I'm not going to contribute much to it.
Oh, I got a 6 and a 5.
Cool.
Oh,
Wow.
I got 2 5s and a 6.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
It's 5s
Yeah.
and 6 or
Yeah.
successes. Is that?
Oh
The
my
reason I'm going to
gosh.
give Steven for not knowing is that explorers need maps, and there isn't a map for this. So he's going to solely rely on Sadie and Dodo, who are like, who
Great.
know everything.
So, I'm going to give you 3 locations that, based on your interactions with the people so far, would likely have been staging areas where the Ferris wheel might be held before taking it here. 1, Paul's room. Because, of course, being so obsessed, it would not be a stretch to say that maybe he was admiring this Ferris wheel before taking it over to place amidst the collection. Perhaps enjoying it before gloating in front of all these people. The second place I would like to pitch would be the office, because, of course, Paul had someone appraise each individual item, and I mean, it might not be necessarily the most professional to have your appraiser visit your bedroom before they appraise an item, and so it would make sense to meet up in an office in order to get that appraisal from Mr. John Baxter. The third place that I will give you is potentially Sam's room, because you have heard that Sam, well, he's always wanted to play with the collectibles. And John Baxter did mention that he's always tried to get his hands on everyone, although up to this point, he wasn't allowed to. And perhaps seeing one ripe for the plucking, perhaps our little Sammy was finally able to grab and play with one of these toys, one of these priceless toys worth so many readies. But I will give you 3 potential locations where you could find this Ferris wheel.
Well, 3 locations and 3 of us. Do we want to split up and each pick a room?
Yeah. Any particular place that anyone wants to join or to go to?
I like the idea of Dodo going to Sammy's room.
I'll
Okay.
do Paul's room. Feel
Guess
like
I'm going
that's
to
the
the
most juicy.
Great.
Guess I'm going to
What
the
about
office
maybe
then.
love letters there? I don't know. His journal.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So in this case, if y'all don't mind, I am going to use your earlier rolls as a barometer of initiative in a way.
Mm.
We are going to start with Kayleigh, and then we'll go to Liam, and then we'll go to Henry. And we'll just go in that order, but in essence, all of this is happening at the same time as y'all break off to get to these possible locations. So, starting with Sadie, you are heading to Paul's room. Now, as y'all are emerging from this ballroom area, this is like I would say like the west wing of the structure. You emerge from the ballroom, you get to the main like sitting room where the front door is, where of course Evans the butler had let y'all in, and at this point, you would see that there are a couple of them. There are a couple of the guests that are chilling in the sitting room. Notably, Sally Struthers, Ruth Brown, as well as John Baxter, and everyone else has split off. Sadie, you head up the stairs to where the main rooms would be, the bedrooms would be. And as you approach, and I would say like Sadie and Dodo, both of you are heading in the same direction. Unless you decide to take a leisurely route and climb up the vines on the side of the building or something. Otherwise, you're both walking the same way. And I'll say that Sadie, you reach Paul's room first. It's one of the earlier rooms on the right, um, and well, the door is open, and you see Paul there. He is laying on the bed, asleep. What would you
Okay.
like to do, Sadie?
Well, Sadie, I'll see you later. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Thought he had. Oh, okay. I was just looking at my scene cues because I have I have one about being sneaky, but it's just about not being followed though, which I don't think that's really coming up now.
Mhm.
It's not. I'm not afraid of being followed. I'm afraid of
Turns
being.
around. Dodo's
Yeah.
like,
All right. You know, I'm just gonna do this the old-fashioned way and just sneak in very quietly.
Great. You're able to do so fairly easily. I won't even require a roll. I would like to ask if there's anything in particular you would be looking, any place in particular you'd be looking. There would be a fairly large oak desk, a wardrobe, like a little closet sort of situation. There's a large bed that Paul is laying in, with a little canopy over it. Perhaps it's a slightly translucent material, so you do see the outline of him, even when you move to a place where it's a little more obscured, but you do see it is Paul. There is a nice plush carpet, and there's also a little a little set of cabinets as well to the side, as well as a bookshelf.
first instinct was to like look under the bed in case there's Ferris wheels under there. So I think I'm going to go with that and just, again, very quietly kind of look under there. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So as you look under the bed, you're going to notice that there isn't much underneath the bed except for there is a small chest about yay big, about yay tall, and
Roughly
this
Ferris wheel
chest.
sized.
Oh, what was that?
Roughly Ferris wheel size.
Oh, no. Unless you took the Ferris wheel apart into its base components, then it might fit at this chest. But based on the height, it wouldn't be able to fit the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, I wanna try looking in this chest.
Okay.
Sort of like quietly move it out, see if I can open it, see if it's locked.
So, it is locked, but I will say that as far as the room itself, the room is quite clean, almost militantly so. And based on so far your movements around, even if you make a little bit of noise, Paul doesn't seem to stir much. Perhaps the shock of the evening has worn him out, and so going through a couple of the drawers, you would see a key, and you could crack that chest open. And within, you do see a few things. You see a small brown teddy bear, and you see just a stack of readies. Not too much, but maybe just like a little bit of emergency in case you need it. I would say probably in the realm of like 120 readies. And you also see a little slip of paper, which, if you don't mind, I would love if you could read this out, as I will also show it on screen. I've sent it in our little Discord chat.
Sure. So you just want me to read this aloud then?
Yes, please.
Cool. Dear Father, don't worry. I'll move out as soon as I finish this collection. I'm sure Peter will find other living arrangements. Sincerely, Paul. Interesting.
Now, you can consider what you might want to investigate next as I jump over to Dodo. Dodo, who, you'd be able to reach Sammy's room quite quickly. And by contrast, like perhaps you were able to get a little peek into Paul's room, as well as a peek into a couple of the guest rooms that the doors are wide open. But Sammy's room looks quite different in that he has a little race car bed. He's got the kind of carpet where there's like roads, there's like buildings, there's some toy cars that are on these roads. There's a desk upon which there are many drawings, as well as a little journal. It says diary, but then its diary is scratched out and crudely written is the word journal. He also has a slightly smaller wardrobe, a bit more colorful too. I would say it's got some of the primary colors as far as the doors are concerned. It's a lot more fun, a lot more suitable for a kid. the curtains are completely open, so the sun is shining bright into the room, and well, Sam is nowhere to be found.
That's a bummer. I was hoping to talk to Sam. Um, I think Dodo is going to look around. I'm not going to touch the journal. I don't know. Dodo feels a bit uncomfortable at the idea of trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Dodo might just gonna sit herself in the middle of the room and just kind of do a cursory glance. Just try not to touch anything and just kind of look. And uh, I don't know if the race car bed is like one of those that's right on the ground or if there's like a bit of height to it. But if there is like a space under it, she might kind of look. But it's all very looky, no touchy.
Okay. If you do look underneath, you would see a lot of garbage, like various candy wrappers, as well as a lot of crinkled up bits of paper.
Nice. I'll grab one of the crinkled piece of papers and just uncrimple it.
Okay. Would you mind rolling me how about just rolling 3d6, and depending on how many successes you get here, will determine what you get.
Okay. How does no successes work for you?
Okay. So Dodo, this crinkled up piece of paper that you take out, you unfold it, and you see that it's a very crudely drawn drawing, that it's stick figures. You see a very small figure, and there's the word Sam above it. There's a taller figure that says Paul, and then there's a very angry looking figure that he's drawn in red, that says Father, and he's got like angry eyebrows and stuff too.
Nice. I think Dodo's gonna kind of smile a little and then kind of look a bit sad about it, and carefully trying to follow the random lines, like put the paper the way it was, almost as if like anyone would check, but just kind of like the same way it kind of opened, she's trying to like push it back together carefully and place it exactly back under the bed where she thinks it was. Um, and then I think she's just going to uh, sit down in the middle of the room and kind of start muttering to herself, start kind of humming little words and things, and try like she's doing a bit of a one woman seance sort of situation, but like in a very cozy sort of way, you know, just humming little tunes, and
Mm-hmm.
just every now and again she'll say things like, um, wind blowing through this window, listen to us, sun shining up against the wall, you are welcome. And just kind of randomly, and I think she's just going to sit there and do that uh, for a little while. The purpose behind it, obviously, is to get a vibe for the energies in this room, but she's also waiting for Sammy to come back.
Okay, great. Okay, in that case, we'll put a pin in this for a moment as I jump over to Steven, you were heading over to the office, correct? Great.
Yes. Yeah.
In that case, when you arrive,
Mhm.
you would note that opening the door, there is like a little glass window that's kind of been it's there's that treatment to the
Mm.
glass where it looks a little fancier. It says office, but you can't really see through the glass.
Yes.
Like you can detect movement, but otherwise
Mm.
there's no fine detail. But
Mhm.
you're able to open the door and you would see that there is as far as this layout is, there is a very large desk at the far end, um that is, it's very fine, it's very nice. There is a big there's a big leather chair, and seated in that chair is none other than Count Adams himself.
Hmm.
um, Now, in front of this desk are also two leatherback chairs. There are so many bookshelves along the left and the right of the
Mhm.
walls. There's a little stand with a globe. There are quite a few lights that are set up in this room, though none of them are on except for the one on the desk, just a little lamp barely illuminating the count's
Mhm.
face. Um, but you're gonna hear the count say, "Did you find something?"
Just directly to me, who is just walking into the office.
Yes.
um, Sorry to intrude. I feel like I should have knocked before walking in here, but alas, here I am. And to answer your question, no. The only thing I have found is you in the office. So, yeah. Do you want me to close this door and then knock and then come in again as courtesy, or are we past that point already?
If you haven't found anything, don't waste my time.
Well, I was coming here on the basis of Dodo, one of my associates' deductions that perhaps the most obvious place to look for the Ferris wheel could start from potentially the place that it was placed at, hence the office. With her logic, Dodo thought that perhaps that the Ferris wheel could have been here before, being appraised by the appraiser and the appraisee.
Why don't you give me a bravado and persuasion?
Okay, cool. Okay, I got a 5. Okay, just one success, a 5.
Okay. And he's gonna say, "That's sound logic. Well, take a look. I haven't seen anything. Maybe you can find something."
Well, now I have your permission. Thank you, Count Adams. And yeah, I would just like to see, like, I mean, the layout of the room is exactly how I describe it, but I think as Stephen goes and just like tries to check every nook and cranny, I think he'll also like ask Count Adams, is like, so regarding the Ferris wheel, like, where would it usually be? What before bringing it up to the display stand in the foyer that we were at? Um, is the office a potential place for such a important piece of the collection, or
Yes. Usually Mr. Baxter would come in here along with Paul and myself so that we could watch and make sure that he was doing his job.
all right? So, and how does he do his job? Is he a good appraiser as he says it's said to be out to be?
Yeah, he's worked for me for a long time.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Uh, so, but on the day, because I'm trying to piece together exactly the timeline of where I was at before and the time where it was at the display stand. Where are the possible locations the Ferris wheel was?
Count Adams. He's gonna squint for a moment and say, "You know, I wouldn't be surprised if that hooligan Peter took it."
Oh. And as he's going ahead and just like checking and like checking the lights and all that, it's like, oh, why would you say that? And that's a very strong word, hooligan.
Yeah, he's been, well, staying here as a friend of Paul's for a while,
Mm,
and I've just about had it with him.
mm,
He doesn't do anything.
hmm. So, correct me if I'm wrong. So he's not really too much of a hooligan since he isn't really like destroying everything and going off to the streets and throwing bricks out windows.
He
Just more like a sloth, a
he could be
leech.
doing all of those things out there, but it's like money, you know. If
Mm,
you're not earning with your money, then you're
mm,
losing money, and
mm,
he's sure as hell isn't earning
mm,
unless if he took the Ferris wheel, he could probably sell that for a pretty penny.
mm. I mean, that's very interesting. I'm only basing this off of stories of which my compadres have told me about, or at least what everyone has thought about him. But I don't know. If he is that lazy of a person, and this is the only time that he has exerted some effort to try to make money on his own, I don't know. It very seems out of pocket of him, but then again, I don't know the person, so I would definitely love to talk to him to see whether or not he is as capable as you see him to be. I don't know. But anyway, I would definitely like to make a roll of just like see if there's anything interesting in this office that could be of use in
Why
terms
don't
of
you
like because
give
I
me
mm,
either culture and etiquette or
mm,
creativity and passion? Because
ooh I'm
in one case, the
mhm,
creativity would be
mhm,
to think about perhaps his train of thought and
mhm,
consider where there might be potential
mhm,
evidence.
mhm,
Culture and etiquette would just be as far as like a man of this guy's stature,
mhm.
where important things would lie.
Okay, I would do the second option because I think in
Okay.
terms of people, like I think Steven can only base it off of just what people say. He's not going to dive deep into it. That's not the thing he's interested in.
Mhm.
He's more interested in the things. Since he
Okay.
is creator, so he likes to seek out those things.
Hmm.
Ugh, okay, no, that is a 3. No successes, even though I have 3 dices. Do I have any scene cues to help me along with this? Probably not. I could. Hold on, let's see. Because I'm trying to base it off of like all this stuff. No, I don't think so. I don't think
Okay.
so. Mm-hmm.
Then in that case, Count Adams is basically going to usher you out and say, "Yeah, if you want to question Peter, his room is upstairs. Now let me get back to making money." And he'll slam the door behind you.
It's like, huh, well, that's that rude. Like blocked. But I feel like I might want to come back here later on. But that's
Okay.
Just
not.
go
That's
yeah, around the window.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yes.
probably like what another thing, but I need to get him out of the
Uh,
room first.
Great. Well, while you
Yeah.
consider how you might do that, I'm going to jump back over to Sadie. Sadie, as of course you have this letter, you are going to hear the door open to this room. What do you do?
I will, whatever the quickest possible, probably stuffing the letter in my pocket and pushing the chest under the bed as like smoothly as I can manage.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be totally closed, but I'm sort of counting on I just need to kind of have it out of the way. So I can always go back and close it later.
Great. Okay. You'd be able to very quickly stuff the letter in your pocket and push the chest under the bed. And would you, in this case, are you going to try to hide, or will you simply stand and act natural?
Ooh, I hadn't considered hiding, but
This is exactly what it looks like.
I kind of want to do. Yeah, I want to try and hide. Can I hide inside the wardrobe?
Oh, you could certainly give that a shot. Yeah. Why don't you give me a wit and sharp here?
Let's see my stats. Okay, I have a 5 and a 6.
Nice. Yeah, you're able to hide very handily inside the wardrobe. It seems like as far as his clothes are concerned, there aren't very many, but the few that there are very well maintained. And you're able to kind of just slip in, and you would see a gentleman come in. He has black hair, a little bit of scruff. He has a button-up shirt, but the top 3 buttons are unbuttoned.
I think I know who this is.
Yes. And he is gonna go up to the side of Paul's bed, and you're gonna see him like drop down to his knees so that like his hands are kind of just resting on the bed, and he's like, "Bro, are you okay?"
I'd like to use one of my scene cues at this point, which is behind closed doors. You've got a knack for overhearing other people's private conversations. You can pick up on rumors and secrets by eavesdropping.
Oh, okay.
Which is a cute scene cue that was made for Sadie.
Fantastic. Okay. So you're going to like in one moment he's just checking in on Paul, and then Peter is gonna like he's gonna stand up, he's gonna go over to the door and lock it, and then he's gonna go over to the window and close the curtains, and then he'll go back to where he was and he'll start crying. Do you want to do anything or continue listening?
Oh, continue listening. Yeah.
Listen to this man cry.
What am I gonna do? Be like, I've been hiding inside the wardrobe the whole time.
Great. So
I've been here the whole time.
No, I'm doing that thing where it's like open like just like a little crack so I can kind of like peek out, but also not enough that I can be spotted.
Okay, great. So in this moment, he's gonna be saying, "Brah, you can't die on me, man. If you die on me, then where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? I can't get a job." Do you do anything or say anything or keep listening?
Oh, I keep listening.
Okay, great. So, um, it seems like he's dead set on pouring his heart out. Now that apparently to him no one is listening. And he's gonna say, I thought this whole collection thing was silly. But seeing this, I didn't realize how much this meant to you. I thought it was just something to distract you after the breakup, but I guess you do care about it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made fun of you. And after like saying that, you'll see like his shoulders are a little bit more relaxed. He's gonna wipe his face on the sheets. He's gonna open the curtain again, unlock the door. And it's like he'll open the door and he'll stop for a moment and say, oh, please wake up, brah. I wanna make fun of that Baxter guy with you. He's such a tool. And he will exit the room. Now, I will say this. There's a little bit of a delayed thing in that I don't have a particular secret for you right now. But you do have a little bit of an edge on Peter if you do encounter him in the future. And you could perhaps lord this over him in a way to get his cooperation.
Okay.
But what would you like to do? Would you like to stay here?
No, I would like to leave at least the wardrobe.
Okay, great.
Because it could create a very awkward situation if at some point because I'm now trapped here. So yeah, I'm going to once the coast is clear, just sort of quietly make my exit at least from the wardrobe directly, and put back. Like, do I put? Yeah, I'll put back the note. I don't think I need to keep it. I learned already what I need to learn from it. And put set up lock the chest again so that it's back the way it was.
Okay, excellent.
I might take a look at the desk afterwards, though. If I have a little bit more time, I'll just take a cursory look at the desk.
Cursory look at the desk. Excellent. In that case, you will see a little invoice. This seems to be the perhaps the invoice for the services rendered by John Baxter. And I'll pull that up, but I'll give you the quick spark notes as far as the invoice is concerned on the stream, in that it seems to be the last three things that were charged by John Baxter from his company Appraise Me Up. The funnel cake stand, the roller coaster, the Ferris wheel, all in the amount of 50 monies, though there is a line item beneath the Ferris wheel for administrative costs, 200 monies. And in this moment, before we pan over to Dodo sitting in Sammy's room, trying to get the general feeling and vibes, we're going to take a little 10-minute break. We've reached about the halfway point. So, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all have been incredible. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Bye.
Hey, it's Matt. If you're seeing this, this means that we're probably on break. And I figured, while we're waiting, in case you're chilling, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. And I figured I might try to keep you entertained with some videos for my channel while we're waiting. We'll be back very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Beginner roleplay. Break the silence. You know the silences that come after a GM is finished setting the scene. What do you want to do? If you want to break the silence, you can always go back to 3 things. Do the actions that need to be done. Say the words that need to be said. Feel the feelings that need to be felt. You can pick one and say what it is, because that helps everyone around you. Do the thing. So we've fallen into a hole. We can't climb back out. So let's look for a way out. I'm going to start looking for a way out. Say something. I'm going to speak up. Regroup. Okay, it looks like Bruce is looking for a path. Is everyone okay? How many people do we have? Feel something. Norman is scared. He's starting to shake a little bit. He feels like he's the one responsible for all of us being here. He murmurs to himself, did I do this? This is all pretty simple, right? But now that we have 3 things that are out there that we can do, make rolls for, it's helpful because now the other people at the table can latch onto that. Oh, you're looking around? I've got a flashlight. I can come with you. Yeah, if anyone's hurt, I have medical supplies. I can help. I'll put a hand on Norman's shoulder. I feel the same way. We can't let anyone know. Not now. Hopefully not ever. If you're new, it can be hard to roleplay in character, especially deciding on actions outside of combat. If you struggle with this, I have a tip for you. Say it. If your character is doing something, say it. If your character is not doing something, definitely say it. For example, say you're not sure what to do, and you want to defer. Then, Terrence is not sure what to do in this situation. He's looking to everyone else, ready to support. Saying those lines stalls for people who might still be working on finalizing their plans. And it gives people who have ideas but are waiting for everyone else, because they don't want to just take over the moment, permission to go ahead. Because when I'm at a table and I see someone deep in thought, I tend to assume they have an idea brewing. So if you want your character to stand by and defer to others, telling the table is a great move. Do you have a player who wants to play low charisma but is a bit nervous about role-playing it? Here's something you can pitch as a GM, if you don't mind taking a little extra pressure to improvise. The PC doesn't have to do anything different than what they want to do. You as the GM, on the other hand, whenever they make a low roll, you get to play around a bit. That's a 4. Sorry, I can't give it to you for free. Last time I did something like that, well, you just remind me of someone I dated once. I let them in and they tore my heart in 2. It'll be 50 gold. Essentially, their low charisma is rooted in them having one of those faces, one of those voices, or maybe those mannerisms that will remind an NPC of someone they used to know. So before this roll, can I cast Detect Thoughts? Okay. That's a 1. So the nobleman hears you say, "We're the King's Guard," and you feel in his mind, that's what my best friend said, before he turned on me and threw me into prison. Sorry, I'm just gonna get them out of here. Sarah, would you mind taking over? Thanks. Do you have a player who wants to play high charisma but is feeling a little too nervous about the roleplay? This is kind of a flip side of the low charisma one. But here's something you can pitch as the GM, if you don't mind taking a little extra pressure. They don't have to do anything different than what they want to do. You, on the other hand, whenever they make a roll, you get to play around a little bit. That's a 22. So the sneer on the bandit's face fades away. Are you? The other bandit steps up and whispers in his ear. I'm sorry. Please, let them through. I didn't know. Don't take it out on my men. Essentially, their high charisma is rooted in them being confused for people in high positions or connected to people in power. I want to detect thoughts while this is happening. Okay? So the nobleman hears you say, "We're the King's Guard," and you feel in his mind, King's Guard? Wait, is this that undercover boss royalty program? Am I being tested to see if I'm worthy for the King's court? I've been so rude. He speaks up. I'm so sorry. I lost my head for a bit. Please drink of my wine, eat of my cake, sleep of my bed. Anything for the King's Guard. They're the most powerful piece we have. There's a hero on the battlefield on helping to win the wars. Let's call them Victa. The PCs eventually run into this character in a battle. They're struggling and Victa shows up to save the day. But with one final blow, Victa is slain. The remains unidentifiable. The hope of every soldier has been taken away. Do we tell them? They return with heavy hearts. But when they arrive, they see a large crowd cheering. We're here to ruin the party. They see Victa on stage. An imposter? Everything they see, hear, perhaps even investigate shows that this is Victa. How? If the players ask around, they'll find a washed-up detective. The players will get some info until they get too close and the players learn about this detective's disappearance too. If they investigate the city building, they'll find a mage and Victa. But Victa's not moving. Are they dead? Not quite. I've made a clone. I've made many. Victa serves the city until their last breath. That was their pact. And with my magic, they will be in service to the city forever. Why? They give the people hope. Even if it's a lost cause, the people fight stronger, longer, because they're there. Do they accept this machine? Where a legendary hero has been enlisted to fight and die and fight and die? Or do they want to stop the cycle and end the lie? When it comes to hope. You want to see my ID? Okay. Now that I know your name, I win. Wait, I wrote your name down in my death note. Why are you still alive? So I met a Fae once. What? Sorry. My most powerful roleplay tool is lending support to my teammates. How do you do that in the course of a scene? First, support their point of view. Whatever their action is, you don't need to have their logic or reasoning. Just support it. Why should we help you and not turn you in? We're gonna take down the head of the assassins. We are? Oh yeah, we are. That's the first step. If your teammate feels like you're on their side, they're gonna feel more supported and be more likely to support you too. Now, how well you can support their point of view may vary. Hey, you don't sound sure. What makes you think you can do that? Well, I'm not talking to you. How do you plan to take out the ultimate assassin? Here's the great part. Simply supporting is excellent. You don't need to support them in the most optimal way, unless that's true to your character. You simply need to support them in the way that your character would, even if that's not the smartest way. How do you even plan to get in? Through the front door? I like you. Keep this guy around. He's funny. Yeah. Funny. One of my favorite ways to spice up an encounter, especially one that lasts a little longer, is to throw in some NPCs, specifically 2 types. The best person who could show up, and the worst person who could show up. Say the PCs are struggling right now, so they might have let the sheriff know where they'd be. As the evil mage is about to launch their fireball, they pause. Who's there? All of you hear a familiar ting-a-ling-a-ling. Is that howdy? I thought y'all could use a hand. Whereas that the PCs seem to be doing really well, you're pushing the evil mage back when you see a familiar figure. The sheriff's daughter, Tabitha, wearing the same robes. Yes, save me, my queen. Your queen? Wait, is she the actual leader? But sometimes you can do a bit of both. As the evil mage is about to blast you, you hear a boom and see his staff fly out of his hands. I thought y'all could use a hand. As you continue to rain down pain upon the evil mage, you have the advantage now. He can't stand up to your combined strengths, especially with the support of the sheriff, but all of you notice the evil mage smiles. Save me, my queen. Happy? Why? Silly villain idea. The loner. Whenever the party needs something, this NPC is there to help. Oh, you want to get there faster? I've got horses. I'd be happy to loan you some. Oh, you need a map of the city? This one even has all the secret spots in town. Looking at you, Miss Rogue. The more and more this NPC helps and the party is seen working with them, the citizenry start to react a bit differently. The baker gave me all this free stuff. He seemed scared of me. I got free tickets to the show. I wanted to pay and they flinched when I reached into my pocket. Are you friends of Farah? Yeah. Here's our payment for the week. This is all we can afford. If you could get it to them. Payment for what? Just get it to them. Please. It's from the Chestersons. No, Zod. Farah? Hey. Ooh, you got pastries? Looks like they got the message. Nothing but the best from my friends. There was this too, from the Chestersons. Ah, late. Again. And they're short. Again. I'll pay them a visit. For this and for bothering you. I'll catch you later. Are we friends with the mob boss? I think so. Shit. It can be hard to roleplay as a beginner at the table. Sometimes you don't know what to do, or you want to say something that fills the silence, but doesn't commit the group to anything, because you don't want to take over the moment. Use a get ready move. These are actions that are simple, in character, and nudge action without necessarily forcing the group in one direction. For example, you hear the sound of hooves and wheels approaching. What do you do? If I were to say, Terrence draws his sword, that feels much more aggressive than Terrence is gonna sit up and put his hand on his sheathed sword. Though both would suggest a readiness to defend if need be, the latter, a get ready move, allows us to continue the path of we'll see what happens, rather than progressing us farther down the path of potential hostilities. It fills the silence, so the GM doesn't immediately advance the scene to the next beat, giving the other players some time to decide what they want to do. So someone else could take the lead and say, Sarah's gonna nod, be ready, I'll see what they want. What do you do when there's a clear meta mistake? By that I mean, let's say the player misunderstood the situation, and their character is acting on that misunderstanding now. I'm gonna activate the machine. Are you sure? It'll seal away the big bad, right? No. It's supposed to open the seals to allow the big bad's army to enter this plane. Oh, I misunderstood that completely. Yeah, your character has high enough intelligence to know that. This is one of the few circumstances where I say clarify and give the player the option to retcon if need be. Whoa, retcon? Yeah. So sometimes I see people say, gotcha, no takesies backsies, which doesn't feel right because the character shouldn't have to pay for a player's meta misunderstanding. just like how a character shouldn't benefit from a player's meta-knowledge either. Because we want the character to be doing things that the player is choosing on purpose. That's in line with the character. So I'll give the option. With the knowledge now corrected, what do you want to do? So then the character can act in line with their ability and their skill, not hampered by the misunderstanding. And if they've got a plan, they might still want to do the terrifying thing, but at least they're doing so on purpose and not because of a miscommunication. Encourage new players to roleplay more. So you don't have to be a performer or a comedian. You can't force anyone to, but you might be able to encourage them. First, set the precedent yourself. I have to set the example. I'll immerse into a character to roleplay with someone and be willing to look foolish or silly. It doesn't mean your players will, but seeing me go a little wild might help someone else step out of the shell too. Because if they suddenly want to make a big move, they know they won't be alone. To make it easy, you take the pressure off of them. You're not putting expectations on them. They're going to respond how they want. Whatever it is, be happy with it. Because no one wants to feel like they're disappointing you with whatever they're comfortable with. If someone does step out of their comfort zone, you make it easy on them. It doesn't have to be too long. That makes it easier for others because they know they don't have to RP for 10 minutes straight. To make it fun, give them easy NPCs to work with initially. I'm not going to throw a Roastmaster General at a newer player, at least until I think they can handle it. So I'll throw easily understandable archetypes like the helpful shopkeep, curious child, or the worried parent, so they can draw from real life experience to inform their character choices. The more they succeed in these roleplay moments, the more they're likely to want to do more roleplay moments, especially if you can make it rewarding for them in some way. So that'd be how I would start if I wanted to. Beginner roleplay tactics. One of my favorite things when it comes to roleplay is when someone includes me in something they're doing, especially for flavor. So your character is pretty aware and nimble, right, Matt? Yeah. If we used to work together, maybe you could catch me. Gerald is kind of frail. Of course, because it makes me feel helpful, and it gives me extra fuel for flavor. With the entire party falling, we could all individually describe a distinct superhero landing, but there's something fun about being given that gift. Yeah, it would make sense that I, the physical specimen, would catch my teammate, and then we get to roleplay that, and show the other players and the GM a little bit of our dynamic. But that all started because Gerald's player decided to include me. A very important element I'd like to add is that he's making my character the hero here. I'm not the butt of a joke, I'm not the one being saved. This invitation to be included, the ask, lets my character be cool. If you want to include someone in a narrative choice and you're not quite sure how they'd take it, the best way to maximize your chances that it'll succeed is if you make them look cool. If there's a hero in a scenario, make them that hero, and they'll be more willing to come along for the ride. Showing versus telling at the table. It matters less what you say about your character and more what you do as your character. If I tell you that my character's a scoundrel with a heart of gold, that sets an expectation. If everything I do as my character is scoundrel and you don't see that gold, then I'm just a scoundrel. I failed to show you what I told you. Now, since we can switch to narrator mode, we can both tell and show at the same time. Before we leave the scene, I'd like to try to steal something that'd be easy to hide. Okay, you get a little paperweight. It's made mostly of silver. Feels like it'd be worth a decent amount. Hey, I'm gonna catch up with everyone later, okay? So I'm just gonna take a little detour home and leave the paperweight and my cut from the job on my little brother's nightstand. How old is your little brother? 8? Is that you, big brother? Shh, I left something for you and Mom. Don't wave it around, just use it to get some food, okay? Even though the other characters don't see any of this, the other players do. And it makes the scoundrelly behavior you're doing feel a lot better, because you're showing them that you mean what you say. You're showing what you're telling. You're proving that heart of gold. Beginner role-playing tips. When a GM names an NPC, give them some sort of importance. We as GMs take a lot of time to build NPCs, creating names, crafting personalities, whether pre-planned or on the fly, allowing ourselves to live alongside you, the PCs, for mere moments at a time. So one of the most beautiful gifts you can give to a GM is to become interested in the NPCs. I don't mean to interrogate to see how much we know about them. What's this one's name? Hey, how many kids do you have? What are their names? But to allow them to affect you. Because one of the most amazing feelings for a GM is to hear that our work has not been for naught. Oh, you really made me hate that guy. I think she's my hero. You know, we would have gone after Lord Culvington regardless, to save the people. But since he took Sir Wesley, it's personal. As GMs, we talk about the idea of failing forward a lot. But what does that mean? Think about it in terms of a movie. When our protagonists fail at something, the story still progresses. Either the heroes figure out another solution, or if the situation is different, the failure sends them down a different path so they can figure out another solution. But as a GM, how do you set something like that up? Say your players are trying to infiltrate the castle to save the prince that's being held hostage. Their initial plan to dress up as the guards and bluff their way into the gate fails. Now surrounded, they surrender. They've essentially failed. But how do we encourage creativity amidst this? In a way that might be justified in the story and provide the players a chance to keep moving forward. An example would be to take them prisoner inside the castle. There's likely a dungeon or several within it. Take them down into the depths where various creatures may be kept as exotic pets. Experiments that would catch the eye of the public are done on the king's behalf. So the PCs failed, as a consequence are placed in not the most advantageous position, but the story can continue to progress. In effect, they've infiltrated the castle, and a new puzzle's in store for them to figure out how to bust out of the dungeon in order to complete the mission. I really appreciate whenever a player is able to jump into the group, even if their character isn't the friendliest, especially if their character isn't the friendliest. It shows a lot of teamwork ability, because at the end of the day, the players are all on the same team together, even if their characters.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Improv and RPG channel. We are rocking and rolling with some Flabbergasted action, part 2 of our Precious Memories mini-series. And Sadie, Steven, and Dodo are currently hard at work to try to figure out perhaps who pilfered this Ferris wheel and where it might be. Now, we jump back in with Dodo, who is currently sitting in the middle of Sammy's room. What are you doing at the moment? What does it look like?
Yeah, Dodo's just sitting in the middle of the room. Like I said last time, she's wearing a bright yellow dress with like red flowers on it and everything. So she's just kind of set the dress kind of around her a little bit, so it's not all like frumped up where she's sitting. She's just sitting and she's just got her eyes closed and she's kind of swaying back and forth and just kind of feeling the vibe, doing little hand gestures every now and again, and just kind of smiling and humming cute little songs and making bird noises every now and again, and just living her best weirdo / Disney princess life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. In this case, would you mind rolling a d6 for me?
I would not mind, especially if it rolls high. Just a 4.
A 4.
Honestly, do mind.
Okay. So, there will come a knock at the door. And then you will hear a voice. Young Samuel, are you in there?
I think Dodo's gonna kind of snap out of it for a second and just be like, because she doesn't want to get caught, but she's not clever enough, or rather she's panicking enough to not think, oh, maybe if I stay quiet, nothing bad will happen. So she's going to try to imitate the voice of a kid and just be like, I'm busy, don't come in.
Hey, why did you give me a creativity and passion?
Have you ever heard this kid speak before, or just like this?
Yeah, I had a whole conversation with the kid.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Actually, no, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, creativity and passion is what I'm best at, supposedly. So we're looking at only one success, but a success nonetheless.
Okay, so one success. And the voice from beyond the door says, all right, I just wanted to let you know that I was able to take care of the thing. There are people in the hallway, so be quiet. But I'll meet you in our usual spot.
Wait, which is where again?
He's gonna.
Do you want me to roll again?
You'll hear the footsteps start to walk away,
Right.
and then there's a stop, and then a sigh. By the pool.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, with that information, what would you like to do?
I mean, so he took care of the people in the hallway, and he'll meet me by the pool. Did he say when?
No.
No. Okay, that's useful. Um, I mean, I'd still like to. I'd like to find Sam. So I don't know whether in my head the room is where he'd be coming back to eventually, but um, if a little bit of time passes by, maybe I'll just kind of duck my head out and kind of go looking for him if he doesn't show.
Okay. Um, in this case, why don't you give me a little wit and sharp?
Wit and sharp. One success again.
Okay. With one success, I can tell you that you do recognize the voice that was speaking from the other side, and this was Evans, the butler, who had opened the door for y'all. And if there was some sort of perhaps agreement, then if Sammy were the impatient sort, he might have gone to look for Evans, where Evans would normally be.
To the pool I go.
Okay, we'll put a pin there, and I will jump over to Steven. Steven, who had attempted to get some information from the office and encountering Count Adams, who, after a little bit of conversation, you learned about his disdain for Peter, but you have been shooed out. What would you like to do next, Steven?
I really, really want to get into that office. I feel like there's a lot in that office that is like, but the problem is he's in there. He's being very, very obstinate and not leaving the place. So I do want to try and find a way to get in. And I feel like I could have a scene cue.
Oh,
Mhm.
snap.
So my scene cue is a daring attempt. When attempting a daring and difficult physical feat, describe in a creative manner on how you beat the odds and accomplish the feat. Is there a way for me to sneak into the office without him noticing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you were able to stake it out a little bit.
Hmm.
And the easiest way would be through the windows that would be behind his desk and chair.
Hmm.
Of course, the blinds have been drawn, but that
Hmm.
could work to your advantage because if you were to sneak up to the windows, he wouldn't be able to see you from inside.
Hmm. Hmm. Right. Okay. First is about him getting out of the room. So
Yes.
I think what I would do is that I will probably first get his attention by oh, I really wanted to. I feel like I want to go ahead and grab one of the attendees, like if there's one of the sort of the maids and butlers around for a
Do you
while.
want to get
Yeah.
Lois?
Yeah, I want to get Lois. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Hmm.
I would say that, like, as far as her duties are concerned, um, she does, shortly after you are kicked out, come up to this room, looking for, the master of the house. And she does look surprised to see you here, though pleasantly so.
Yeah. So I say to Lois, it's like, Lois, you gotta help. I think so Peter is the one that the Count think is a hooligan, right? Or
Yes.
yeah. So it's like, terrible news. I think I saw Peter like he was I think messing about. I think he got out of his room and he's been just making a mess of things. You got to get a Count, and you know how the Count feels about Peter, right? Like he's got to check out the situation.
Yes, of course. Where is Peter right now?
As somewhere like I think he's like in the foyer again. I don't know. It's like you gotta get the Count to try to calm him down. You know, his authority will surely be able to calm him down a bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And she is going to go up to the door,
Yeah.
knock, and then she'll dash in, and
in this moment, I'm gonna try to hide in a sense. So it's like but I do want to keep a space where it's like I see the Count leave the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear a very loud yell from inside the closed door, and then Lois is going to well, you'll see the door open, the Count storm out and like turn around the corner, and you'll see Lois emerge from the room and go to lock it from the outside.
Right.
And then, of course, you've got your scene cue. So now at this point, it'd be easy. This is on the second story, and so how do you picture this happening?
Okay. So for context for those who are watching, so Stephen Yen, he is wearing like a sort of Wing Chun like sort of outfits. You know, he is of Asian descent and he is, a sort of martial arts expert in the sense. So as he sees the Count leave, he sort of just joyfully struts out and then just does like just a little bit of the basic stretches. You know, he squats down to one leg, some like a dragon pistol squats. Just tries to limber up a little bit, much like a Chinese acrobat of how they start to limber up a little bit before doing like a very impossible physical feat. And then, or if you've seen Bruce Lee, how he warms up, just like, and you just hear all the bones just sort of crack into place as they sort of like, ready to go. And I think you would just go ahead and try to find a window that it's like nearby the office. I could totally imagine like there's a window that you could just like open there and then just sort of climb out acrobatically and just start shimmying along the walls of the manor to try to get to the window of the office.
Excellent. Yeah. I'd say perhaps the next room over is a room of the library, which is unlocked. You're able to get in, find a window, and shimmy across and make your way into the office.
Yeah. So open the window from the outside, creak it open, and then just basically like pretend that like the upper frame of the window is sort of like a monkey bar, and just and then just swings in, and then just lands just a little perfect gymnastics pose, and pretends that there's an audience there, and then realizing there's no audience there, it's like, oh, okay, I should probably
Fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in.
Yeah. So
Okay.
What do you want to do?
I do want to check out the desk, because it seems like the desk would have a lot more information about like perhaps ins and outs and ongoings of like the past few days, I would imagine.
Great. You would see that as far as the any documents are concerned, beyond
Mhm.
his usual financials,
Mhm.
there does seem to be a ledger that talks about um, uh, a big purchase made
Mhm.
fairly recently,
Mhm.
and this purchase was made in Dreamsdale.
Mhm. Dreamsdale. Have I heard
Yes.
of this place before or no?
I'd say that Dreamsdale is one of the cities in Peccadillo where
Oh.
there would be a notable auction house.
Mm. Hmm. Right. But on the ledger itself, it doesn't really specify what the item of purchase is. It's
It
just
doesn't specify what it is, but it
mm,
does have an X next to it.
have an X. Out of all the items that are on this ledger, this one particularly has an X.
Right. It seems like they have
Mm,
like most of the line items, especially with the other financials, regular
mm,
expenses,
mhm,
they're all just okay, this is for
mm,
food, this is for these
mm,
supplies, and then the
mm,
amount.
mm,
But in this case, for Dreamsdale, it seems like it had been earmarked for about maybe 25,000 readies,
mm,
but then there's an X next to it.
mm. Interesting. I'll keep that mental note in my mind. All right. And other than that, I don't know. Maybe it's just the explorer that Steven has. I want to
Hmm.
see if there's anything interesting in this office. That's like some contraption, secret like devices in this place. I mean, this office belongs to the count, right?
Yes.
Surely this must have some sort of like way of him keeping tabs on everything that's going on in the mansion.
Why
But
don't
I
you
don't know.
give
Yeah.
why don't you give me a creativity and passion,
Hmm.
and um tell me what your result is, but
Hmm.
I'll hold on to that and jump over to
Yes.
Sadie.
Okay. I'll do that. Ooh. Okay. Two successes, a 6 and a 5.
2 successes. Okay. Well, we'll keep that in our back pocket. I'll jump back over to Sadie. Sadie, at this point, you had overheard a little heart to heart. Though Paul, unconscious, um, perhaps didn't have the benefit of Sadie's ears in that moment. But you put back the note, you locked the chest, took a quick look at the desk. Um, and I would tell you that uh, Paul does have um, plans as far as um, the future, as well as maybe some of the things that he had done recently. And one of these elements was a trip to um, a place known as Dreamsdale.
Hmm.
And you would note a little, just a little slip of perhaps a receipt indicating that he was able to successfully purchase a Ferris wheel for 35,000 readies.
I've heard that place is famous for its auction house.
Yes.
I heard a rumor somewhere. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And do I know how much it's been appraised for? Or I just know
Yes.
that it was appraised. Okay.
So, as far as just the piece itself on its
Mhm.
own, like the expected value you could get from the average buyer would be 30,000 readies, but that value does jump up a bit if you have the full collection, because
Gotcha.
then someone, I mean, you save a lot of legwork and you have this
Mhm.
very rare assortment.
And does Paul have the full collection now?
if he had the Ferris wheel, he would have the full
Okay.
collection.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. I think I'll probably, once I sort of have sort of gotten a little bit of a look around, I will probably start making my exit of the room, because I don't want Paul to wake up, and at this point I've like at least looked around enough. I haven't maybe covered everything, but I've looked around enough to be like, okay, I don't think the Ferris wheel is in this room.
As you walk out, you are gonna hear just a slight groan
Mm-hmm.
as Paul stirs and says, "Is that you, Ruth?"
Oh no, apologies. It's Sadie. I was just looking for the powder room, but clearly it's not here.
Oh,
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay, Ruth. Thank you for visiting me.
Of course, my pleasure.
Awkward.
And you'll very shortly hear him start to like snore a little bit. But where would you like to go next?
I think. Let's see. So what else is up on this floor? Is Sam's room is up here?
Yes, the other rooms, with perhaps the exception of the staff and the count himself, the other rooms would be here, including the guest rooms.
I might like to look in some of those guest rooms.
You would also, of course, emerging from this room, see Dodo emerging from a room as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'll sort of do a little nod to Dodo, and I'll be like, "Find what you were looking for."
Well, no. How about you?
No.
Oh,
Although I found out at least a little bit, a couple more interesting things, but nothing that answers any big questions.
well, I think it's a great day, and I'm gonna go take a walk outside.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely.
I think I'm gonna take a walk by the pool.
Oh,
Yeah.
have a wonderful time.
I will. We should catch up later for tea.
We should.
I might find some new ingredients while I'm out on my walk.
Hmm. Sounds
Mm. That says everything it needs to say. And Dodo doesn't pick up on it.
Great. Can I ask Sadie, as far as the rooms go, do you have a particular goal as far as which room to go to next?
I guess I'll check out. Well, because Peter might be in his room. Well, I guess who else is? I mean, I don't know if I wouldn't know that, but who else is necessarily staying here?
I would say that everyone else is staying here.
Oh, okay.
It was a full weekend sort of event. So
Okay. Well, I'd like to check on Ruth's room in that case then, because I have my suspicions about her, and I'm curious about the perfume.
okay, great. Okay, so then going to the guest rooms, would you mind rolling a d6 for me? And this isn't a matter of successes or failures. It's just a matter of which room you happen to stumble your way into, because unlike the permanent residents, the other rooms aren't necessarily marked.
Yeah. 4.
Okay. With a 4, you enter one of these guest rooms, and you do see 2 sets of luggage. Both of them are of a similar type. Both of them are like a gray, fairly sleek. But based on the other visitors to the house, it seems that you have in fact found Ruth's room, and she is staying with John Baxter.
Hmm.
And as such, there's the two pieces of luggage. So there do seem to be two beds that have been set up here.
Of course, they're not married yet.
Mm-hmm. What would you like to look at?
Oh, I want to go through that luggage.
Okay.
Sadie has no such qualms as Dodo about going through people's things. She's ready.
Great. Okay. So you go to the luggage, and the first piece, because they look exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to crack it open, and you see ties, you see button-up shirts, you see slacks. You also see that there is a stack of little notes, little papers, and the top of this one has a very well, perhaps it's best that I show you, and you can, as the aficionado, read it out loud if you'd like.
Great. All right. I yearn for you. Emphasis on the yearn. The way you reveal a little bit of ankle, not unlike a corporate executive hinting at the possibility of profits. I must see you again soon so that I might appraise your assets again from your dearest, John Baxter.
Yes. Now,
Okay.
I will also tell you that the rest of the stack, like this is on top of it, but the rest of the stack is not written in the same handwriting.
Okay.
And the other papers, as far as the from is concerned, they're not from Ruth. And on that note, I will come back to you in a moment.
Okay.
Dodo, as you start to head, you want to head to the pool, you would have to go downstairs. But as you are heading downstairs, you would hear off in the distance, east wing of upstairs, you would hear, "Hi!"
Is that
And
Sam?
it is Sam.
I just kind of turn around and I just go, just like a quick, almost like the GIF, of the really excited wave.
How's it going?
Well, it's going great. How you doing?
Good? I'm just waiting for Evans, and he gestures towards a door that is clearly closed.
Evans? Oh, my dear, the butler. Yes. I think I saw him go towards the pool. Do you want me to go with you?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lovely day outside, and I brought my umbrella to protect us from the sun.
I didn't even think about protection from the sun.
Well, maybe you should. It's
What'll
not
it
as
do to
bad
me?
as Australia here, but you still gotta protect that skin.
Okay, yeah. And he's gonna run over to you and stand very diligently beneath your umbrella as y'all head out to the pool. You
Nice.
do.
Can I have a chat with him on the way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So I'll just say, how about all that kerfuffle about the Ferris wheel? I think that's missing. That's a mighty expensive toy.
Yeah, but with how everyone's treating it, it's like it's not even a toy at all.
I mean, you'd be right. You'd be right, sweetheart. You wouldn't know where it went. The sooner we find it, the more we get to have fun again. Everybody's so stressed.
Yeah. Would you roll a bravado and persuasion for me?
I would hate to roll 1d6 for you, but I think it's gonna have to happen, eh? Come on. Nope. That's a 2. Oh, wait, nah, not worth using my... How does the lucky coin... The lucky coin, it gives me a 50-50 chance of a
Yes.
success, right?
Yep, you'll just have
Let's
to call
do
it.
that. Let's do that.
Okay.
I've got a lucky coin to use, so I might as well. So I will take that off. Do you want to flip it or roll it, and I'll call it?
Oh, sure.
Up to you. Or I can do it, whatever.
You know what? You do it. Because if you've got a coin at the ready, then by all means, your fate is in your hands.
I do. Right here, a 50 cent Australian coin.
Ooh.
I'm going to call heads because that's what I always call.
Okay.
Ooh, good sound effects.
I know, right? They got a nice little ting to them.
Yeah.
It's tails.
Ah.
So no success for me, unfortunately. Oh, you know what? In for a penny, in for a pound. See what I did there?
Oh.
I mean, it was silly of me to use the coin, remembering that I've got a sin cue, but
Ooh.
sin cue is... Oh, I could use either. I'm gonna save that one. All right. Friends on the other side. When you're down on your luck, you ask for help from an unearthly source. You automatically succeed on a failed roll of your choice. Described how you were helped. And for the first time, we'll get to roll for influence.
Yes, let's
Ooh.
go. Okay, so why don't you? Our influence table is a little bit bigger, though not quite a d20. If you wouldn't mind rolling a d20, for those of you who are new to the system or new to the expansion, the occultist has roll for influence, which means after they use certain abilities that roll for influence, we'll roll on a table, and this table will dictate certain things that may happen to our wonderful occultists or the people around them. Kind of like a wild magic table. So, what have you
So
got?
I think the way this goes is kind of everything I was doing in the room originally. I was kind of almost absorbing the vibe of the room, and it kind of gave me that extra insight into Semi. And while I didn't go rummaging, maybe there was like another spirit or a ghost that was kind of having a look and filling the place out.
Yeah.
And in that moment when I'm trying to get a sense of what Sam is feeling or what he might be about to say, maybe I've got that connection with him that kind of, maybe I can see a bit of an aura, maybe I can hear some whispers in my ears.
Yeah.
And so I automatically succeed, and on a d20 I roll a 6.
A 6. So, okay, so there's something a little horrifying here, because
Oh no.
what you're going to hear a feminine voice say, my darling, ask him about birds. He loves birds. And this feminine voice, like you kind of get like a vision. You see Sammy a bit younger, maybe 3 or 4 years old, and you see a woman who is playing with Sammy, and Sammy like will point out the window and say, "Mom, look at the sparrows. They're beautiful." And she'll say, "Yes, that's very nice, dear. I see them." But you can tell in this vision that from her angle she wouldn't be able to see them. But she's trying to comfort him. So do you ask about birds?
So is that the thing that happened as a result of the influence roll?
No, that's the thing that
That comes
that would
later.
make you successful.
Okay,
Essentially, this is what turns the fail into a success.
right. Okay, I think what I do is that I start, and maybe that's why in the room I was doing like little bird calls and a little bit of
Mhm.
whistling. Maybe
Yeah.
it's that vibe. I was already picking up on that. And so I kind of look around and I kind of do those whistles again and a bit of those bird calls, and I'll just go, "Oh my goodness, was that a sparrow that just flew over there? They're so pretty. They're so graceful."
And Sammy is gonna say, That's what my mom always used to say when
Well, your
she
mom
was
would
with
be
us.
absolutely right, darling.
And like when you hear him say when she was with us, well, on the influence table, you know what a 6 does? A 6, when you're presented with sad news, you laugh uncontrollably. And perhaps
So very much that.
amidst this, and please mark that down because this will be a recurring thing until this mini series is over.
Oh
Your
god.
sad news reaction. But Sammy is perhaps, like, I'll say in this moment, he's a little bit lost in thought. And he will respond and say, I kind of don't want them to find the Ferris wheel.
Oh, why's that, darling? Oh my, I'm very sorry. Oh, whew.
Well,
I don't know what I put in my last tea, but whew.
also
Why's that, darling?
it must be what my dad puts in his tea sometimes. But
I'm sure it isn't.
if he finished the collection, then he's gonna leave, and I don't want to live here without my big brother.
Well, that's absolutely fair. That's absolutely fair, sweetheart. But you know, sometimes grown up have to do some things to be able to be happy, and it's so hard to be happy as a grown up, you know. And I'm sure he'll come back to visit, and I'm sure he'll get to play with him. Right now, he seems so sad, and life seems so difficult for him.
He's sad?
Well, his Ferris wheel is missing. How would you feel if one of your toys went missing?
You're right.
Don't worry. We'll find it soon enough. And before he goes, I'm sure he'll be happy to throw a big party and spend a lot of time with you. And he'll send you letters, and then he'll come visit, I'm sure. And maybe you can go see him, and it'll be a chance for you to go on an adventure and see new places.
Are you saying that maybe he'll let me live with him wherever he moves?
I'm sure he'll let you come visit.
And you
I
see like
really
a little...
hope that you don't mean that he's dying, hence why he's moving away, because if it's been presented to Sammy as he's moving away because he's really sick and he's actually dying, I will also be very sad.
Oh, no. I will tell you that Paul isn't dying.
Okay.
Paul is just, perhaps there are new things on the horizon for him. But
Fair. Okay, good.
But amidst this conversation, you will eventually reach near the pool, and you'll see Evans there, and he's gonna look and he's gonna kind of furrow his brow, seeing you. And it looks like he hides something behind his back, but we'll put a pin in this, and I'm gonna jump over to Steven. This will be our last turn. I'm sorry we're going over a couple minutes, but I want to make sure you have a chance to do something before we wrap up here. Steven, you were looking around for secret things inside inside the office of the Count Adams. And I will tell you that amidst, since you got so many successes, there would be a safe, not a safe, but not like a locked filing cabinet where there would be quite a few documents, and you pull that out, and you would see some correspondence. Notably, correspondence between Count Adams and John Baxter. Correspondence that suggests that Count Adams wants John Baxter's help in getting Ruth Brown out of the way.
Interesting. Ruth Brown, and correct me if I'm wrong. Chart that we have. John Baxter. So John Baxter, even though that he is the new boyfriend of Ruth Brown, doesn't want Ruth Brown and is actually seeking out the help of the Count?
No, the Count. This is past correspondence.
Oh, past
where
correspondence.
It seemed that he had reached out to John Baxter to get Ruth Brown out of the way.
Out of the way of what? Out of the way of what?
I assume of Paul.
Paul. Huh. Okay. That's interesting. But I'm trying to put two together. Just like, well, and how would this affect like the Ferris wheel? Like I'm struggling to try to figure out exactly like. So, I mean, of course, this is big news, but it's like, is this how the events came to be? Is this sort of like a ploy to further their falling apart? I'm not sure. All right. Well, past correspondence wise, I think that's as much as I could think of right now at the moment. Based upon this information, again, Steven probably doesn't know much about people and people relationships as much. Just like, cool. I also will let this people know. I mean, this isn't a locked book. I'm sure this is sort of like important in a sense. close it, put it back, and then if there really isn't anything else in this room that I have to go and try to figure out, then I think he'll just climb out of the window again to try to get back into the library where he
Okay.
first came in. Do I see Dodo on the way to the pool as I'm outside?
I mean, I would say so. I
Cool.
guess the bigger question would be if Dodo would see our acrobatic Steven way up on the second story at the windows.
I can do a roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, what role would this be? Wit and Sharp or
You know what? Yeah, do a wit and sharp because you are dealing with two things. Again,
Hmm.
two things, Dodo. This time, you have Evans sneakily throwing something behind his back, and you have something off in the distance on the second floor window.
All right, let's see. Let's see what we get. Okay, we get 2 successes.
Two successes. Yeah, you absolutely see Steven moving from glass to glass.
Nice. I so I've got my umbrella and I do a bit of like I lift it up and do a bit of a twirl to kind of almost like a wave, like hello, and then I realize and I kind of bring it back down and I almost like angle it to where uh, Sammy can't see because I've got some little things that dangle off the side of the umbrella, so I kind of make it twirl in his like vision to kind of distract from the fact that there's Spider-Man happening over there.
yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're specifically angling so Sammy can't see.
Well, I'm assuming if I'm walking towards the butler and I'm seeing Stephen up, I'm imagining Stephen is at the butler's back. So I'm assuming that the butler can't see him. Is that a good perspective on the thing, or is he like literally on the side where everybody could see him?
I would say peripherally. So unless you do something, the butler might catch wind.
All right, then I'll choose to distract the butler as a priority.
What will you do?
I think I'll grab his attention by so I'm doing the twirling with the umbrella just as a baseline. I mean, Dodo might have been doing that regardless. And then she'll kind of go, "Oh, dearie, what's that you're hiding behind your back?" And so that hopefully that kind of makes him kind of like focus on me and be like, "Oh, what? Behind my back?" And
Great.
hopefully
That's
not think about looking up.
yeah, and I'll carry over your two successes earlier. So then, yeah, this does the exact thing that you wanted to, and the butler seems a little taken aback. Although he does give Sammy a little bit of a nod because, of course, their thing was to meet here. Um, and Stephen, thankfully, is able to go from window to window without being caught. But speaking of being caught, Sadie,
Oh boy.
of course, you found that little steamy correspondence, and you're going to hear the door open behind you, and you're going to see, well, two shadows cast from the hallway, and you'll hear a voice say, I just hope he's okay," as well as "Yeah, I'm sure he'll be fine. He's rich after all." As, of course, Ruth and John have returned. Now, what are you going to do? Luggage is open. You have the note. you will have to choose between hiding yourself or packing things away.
I'm gonna pack a when I say I might grab a couple of the other notes to read later, but I'm gonna pack up the suitcase. And then just kinda I'm gonna act like I walked into the wrong room or try to.
Okay. In that case, Ruth is gonna say, "What are you doing in our room?"
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was looking for the powder room.
And in that moment, John, he's gonna look a little bit suspicious. Perhaps since you'd be next to his piece of luggage. And he's gonna say, "Wait a second." And that's gonna be the end of our session this time. We'll
Wait
pick
a
it up.
minute. Wait.
We'll pick it up
minute.
there in the next installment. So thank y'all so much for playing. Y'all have been wonderful as always. Everyone watching, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all have been incredible too. And let me kick it over to my players to say their goodbyes, who you are, who you've been this evening, as well as where people can find you if you so desire to be found. We'll kick things off with Kayleigh with Henry on deck.
Hi. I am Kayleigh. I have been Sadie Sedgwick, or very nosy sleuth. In terms of where to find me, mostly just here. Next time, see how things turn out.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Kayleigh. Well, let's jump over to Henry with Liam on deck.
Hi, I'm Henry. I've played Steven, the Explorer, and if you want to find me, you can find me on Emblem Trove on Twitter. I make emblems, heraldries, and logos for TTRPGs. And so, yeah, if you want to commission me to make a logo for your TTRPG game or other stuff, just give me a shout.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Henry. Let's go over to Liam with myself on deck.
Hey all, Liam again. Still, I played Doris Dodo Piper, a bit of a weird occultist that is now apparently going to laugh at sad news because spreading positivity is the way to go about it. You can, again, same thing, find me here next time. But if you're running a game and you want somebody to jump in, I would love to do that if we can line up a time. So yeah, find me on Twitter at geek_own. I'm also on Twitch, although that's been a bit quiet lately due to life reasons, such as me laughing at bad news. I really look forward to the next one. Thank you, Matt.
Of course. Thank y'all so much. I'm Matt. This is my channel, Improv and RPG. I'm so blessed to be able to play with so many incredible players. Y'all are absolutely wonderful. I never know what to expect every time, and I'm always so astounded by how creative y'all are. So thank y'all so much. Thank y'all to the viewers for tuning in. Y'all have been wonderful, and thank you to Chelsea and Fleur of the Wanderer's Tome for allowing me to play with the expansion, to play with the shiny new toy before it comes out. I can live the dreams of Sammy where he isn't allowed to play with the toy, but I am before everything is revealed. So thank y'all so much. And well, y'all, until next time, stay safe, everybody, and take care. Bye.